Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful and honestly elegant features in the C# language. I'm talking about LINQ. If you've ever had to wrestle with data in .NET, you know it can be a bit of a juggling act. Well, LINQ is the game changer that makes it all make sense. So let's dive in. So let me just ask you this. Have you ever had that moment, the one where you're writing some SQL to query your database, and then 5 minutes later you're writing a totally different kind of code with loops and if statements, just to filter a simple list? It feels like you're constantly switching languages just to do the same fundamental thing. Ask questions about your data. It's frustrating, right? And that really gets to the heart of the challenge. See, before LINQ came along, the world was pretty fragmented. You had SQL for your databases, for each loops for your arrays, and then maybe some completely different API for parsing XML. It all worked, sure, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't clean. It was just a lot to keep in your head at once. But what if you had a universal translator for data? A single, powerful, and consistent way to talk to any kind of data, whether it's in a database, a file, or just sitting in memory. Well, that's exactly what LINQ is. It's the tool that bridges all those gaps and gives you one syntax to rule them all. The name itself, Language Integrated Query, pretty much says it all. The query capability is baked right into the C# language. And the keywords to focus on here are consistent and readable. This means you can write queries that feel like a natural part of your code, no matter what you're querying. So what's the secret sauce here? Well, it boils down to 3 big things. First, it's unified. That's our universal translator idea. Same skill, different data sources. Second, it's incredibly readable. You get to focus on what you want, not the nitty-gritty steps of how to get it. And third, and this is huge, it's strongly typed. Think of this as your safety net. The compiler's watching your back, helping you write correct code from the get-go. Okay, so theory is great, but what does this actually look like when we're writing code? Well, LINQ is cool because it gives you 2 different styles, or flavors to choose from. Each has its own vibe. Let's put them side by side and see what that looks like. And here they are, in the wild. On the left, we've got query syntax, and you can see it right away. It looks a whole lot like SQL. Over on the right is method syntax, which uses this cool chaining pattern. But here's the most important takeaway. They both do the exact same thing. They produce the same result. They're just 2 different ways of saying the same thing to the compiler. Let's zoom in on query syntax for a second. If you've written even a little bit of SQL, this is going to feel super comfortable. Use keywords you already know, like from, where, and select. It's really declarative, meaning you're describing the result you want. And a lot of developers find it's easier to read, especially when queries start getting a little more complex. Now for the other side of the coin, method syntax. This style is built on a really powerful C# feature called Lambda expressions. You can think of them as these little throwaway functions you define right where you need them. You chain methods like .where and .select, one after the other. It's a very fluent way to build up a query step by step, and it's an incredibly common pattern you'll see in modern C# code. All right, we have seen the what and the how, but now for the most important question, why? Why does any of this actually matter? What are the real practical benefits that you, the developer, get from using LINQ in your everyday work? For me, this is the absolute killer feature. Because LINQ is truly part of C#, the compiler understands it. That means if you misspell a property name in your query, you don't find out when your app crashes for a user. No, you find out immediately with a red squiggly line right in your editor. Plus, you get that amazing IntelliSense with code completion guiding you every step of the way. It's a massive productivity boost. So let's wrap this all up. If you walk away remembering just a few things, make it these. With LINQ, you write way less code to get complex things done. Your code becomes way more readable for your team and for your future self. You learn one skill and you can apply it to pretty much any data you touch. And best of all, you catch errors early, building much more reliable software. And there you have it, a quick tour of the wonderful world of LINQ. We've seen the problem it was born to solve, and the 2 powerful flavors you can use to write your queries. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Now that you've seen both, which style speaks to you? Are you drawn to that SQL-like feel of query syntax or the fluent, chainable power of method syntax? Something to think about for your next project. Thanks for joining me.